Can I afford to give? Can I afford to give? I'm going to start with a story. My father-in-law had a conversation with a banker, and she made the comment to him that I hope one day I make enough money to be able to give. So she's working a career. She's making probably $40,000, $50,000 a year, and she feels like she can't afford to give. So there's 3 takeaways I want you to get from this. The first one is, it doesn't take as much as you think. Remember the story in the Bible about the widow who gave the 2 mites. 2 mites back then were the equivalent of like pennies today. And yet that story is so profound that Jesus pointed it out to everyone to let them know, look at this woman, look what she did. And we have passed down that story for generations. It still inspires us today, her pennies. It's not about how much it is. There's an organization today called Feeding America. And if you donate $1 to Feeding America, they can take 12 pounds of food that would go into a dump somewhere and get it into the hands of somebody here in our country, in America, who is hungry, who needs food. 12 pounds is enough for about 10 meals. That is a big impact for a very small amount of money. Like, we're talking mites. The second takeaway I want you to get from this is, it's about our hearts. God doesn't need your money or my money. Like, he's God. It's his anyway. It's not even ours, right? Like, he has given it to us to steward. He's allowing us to manage it. And so why does he have us manage it? And it's because he does this so that we can grow from it, so that we can learn through it. And the biggest thing that we learn by being a steward of the money that God has entrusted us to is to trust him. When we follow the principles that he has laid out about how to manage, one of which is definitely giving, it teaches us that he is trustworthy. It teaches us to rely on him instead of to rely on our money. It's a beautiful way to live. So the first takeaway is, it doesn't take as much as you think it will. The second is, God's interested in our hearts, not our money. And our hearts can lead us to him. And the third takeaway is, God will not be outdone in his generosity. So in general in the Bible, it says, do not put the Lord your God to the test. But there's one place where he does give us permission. He says, test me on this. And that's when he talks about giving. That's when he talks about money. I'm going to paraphrase here, but he says, test me on this. He says, give and it will be given to you, a portion so great that it will be shaken, pressed down, and still spilling over. This is the abundance that God brings into our lives when we steward the way he wants us to and when we give. So then it begs the question, we were asking, can I afford to give? But when that is the overflow that comes into our lives when we give, can you afford not to? So this doesn't mean anything if we don't put it into action. I have a challenge for you. My challenge is for you to hop off of here for a minute, stop scrolling, go give, and then come back. I'm going to wait. Did you give? If you haven't yet, pause, because in a minute we're going to celebrate. Okay, if you're still here, then I'm assuming that you did it. You did it. You just made the world a better place. You just were obedient to God's command. You just invited an overflow into your life that only God can give. You just aligned your heart to what God is asking you to do. And you just showed that it doesn't take as much as you think and that you have enough. And so, dance party! Because this, my friends, is the good life.